As I kind of indicated a few days ago with my Fallout 4 update video, new things have come to Creation Club. Today I'm going to be showing you basically a pretty fast and simple overview of all those new items, as well as their prices and just some of my general thoughts about them. Are they worth it? Are they maybe not worth it? In total, we actually got 5 new things, but not really, like 3 new things. 2 of the 2 things are like very similar. If you guys enjoy the content and want to help me get reimbursed for all the money I had to spend on this stuff, you can leave a like or a comment on the video. That actually helps with the internal rating system. But with that being said, let's just jump into the normal video. So first and foremost, we have what is going to be one of the interesting ones. That's going to be the new armor paint jobs. These are actually bundled into 2 separate bundles, and of course you get each one individually. There are 7 in total. I'm really just going to be looking at the 2 bundles because I think it's a way better deal than buying these individually for 100 points. So the first one we're going to take a look at is actually going to be just what I'm calling bundle 1. It's going to have the army paint job, the atom cats paint job, the gunners paint job, and the vault tech paint job. So these look pretty good. These are applicable again to all the different armor types in Fallout 4, not the raider armor though. And you can of course apply this to each individual piece, so you technically could mix and match on different pieces, like having the army on one and the gunner on another. As far as overall visuals go, obviously different armor types show the paint jobs better. In my experience, I definitely think the combat armor shows all of these the best, with the leather armor when it's actually in its heavy variant showing things pretty good. Also, for obvious reasons, it's not always super easy to get the heavy variant of these, so it's kind of annoying if you're using a leather armor to actually portray some of these paint jobs. Either way, again, as you're probably seeing in the background, they look pretty good. I mean, definitely some of them are more interesting than others. I think they largely speak for themselves. They're interesting designs, very similar to what we got a few months ago on the weapon side of things. And one thing that's kind of interesting about this, one compared to the weapon paint jobs again, is I don't think there's a single mod that actually adds in paint jobs for the regular old armors, like non-power armors. So now that we're actually getting that, it is fairly interesting, and I think some people might actually enjoy these packs. But then we do have the other pack. This one's going to be 225 points, and it's going to be the Hot Rod Shark, the Hot Rod Pink, and the Hot Rod Flames. I think these might actually look a bit better. The Atom Cats and the Hot Rod Flames are immensely similar, whether you're into that or not. But I really don't like either of those. I feel like out of all of these, the Shark one is just all around the best looking. I feel like the Army and the Gunner one also do have a nice vibe to them, but just really the Shark one looks amazing and has a really unique and standout design. You'll really just be able to tell when you have this on your armor or a companion's armor. And if you really like these, I feel like 225 points or 100 points for each. Like if you just bought the Shark one, I think that's not the worst deal in the world. I probably wouldn't spend that money if I wasn't making a video on it, but I kind of feel like these paints are so subjective that I can't really give my proper opinion objectively about it. So if you like it, you should buy it. If you don't like it, you probably shouldn't. But then something that I think actually may be pretty worth it or good value is the graphic t-shirt pack. What it's going to add in is 25 new and unique t-shirts for use on your settlers and some of the other miscellaneous characters throughout the game. And more specifically, you could actually find them in certain suitcases, like when people are traveling before the bombs dropped, and some dressers around the Commonwealth, which I really like that integration. I feel like that is actually one of the best parts about this mod. Otherwise, for only 100 points, there's a lot of new content brought to the table here. I mean, 25 new outfits when you're probably going to be seeing settlers all the time is a fairly good deal. I definitely see the argument coming, like there's a ton of free mods doing similar things, but 100 points isn't a ton. That's like $1, and a lot of people probably have 100 points left over in their account. If I had to pick between this and like a Pip-Boy skin or a power armor paint job, well, this would definitely win because it's going to make your world look a bit different. After installing this and actually going to some of your settlements, you're going to start seeing settlers look a little bit different, and I think that's good. I put value on that personally. Just having a bit more variety after you dump hundreds upon hundreds of hours into this game, I think makes the experience a bit more enjoyable on those final hours. At least that's my 2 cents. I'm not a huge fan of all the different designs, but they all maintain a pretty lore-friendly thing. Like a lot of them probably would be worn by people in the Fallout universe if they were a fan of that particular thing before the war, or maybe even after it. And even beyond that, a lot of them do have kind of scuffed up designs, which obviously fits Fallout 4 setting. I think this may be the best value out of the bunch I'm showing you this time around. Although it's a very simple one, it's also pretty cheap, which I would argue for 100 points, you're getting a lot of value for your money. So last but not least, we have the 2 dogs. These are 2 standalone things. There's no packs or bundles, and each dog is going to be 200 points each. First, you do have the Golden Retriever. There's a quest to get it, which means you're basically going to walk somewhere, find the dog, adopt it, and then you get this little animation, which, like, I don't know, I guess it was a kind gesture that someone had to do this, but you just sit next to the dog. I think you're using the same one from Dog Meat. And then at that point, you do get the opportunity to rename it, and then you won't actually have that opportunity again, or at least I didn't have it again in my game. From there, you actually can send it to your settlement, and that's it. then it will just be at your settlement. You'll have a barking dog. I was actually kind of excited for this. I thought it'd be cool to have a new follower or companion. Maybe the two different dogs would have different unique characteristics or something special about each one. But no, you literally can't do anything. You could look at it in your settlement. When you click on it, it will bark at you, and sometimes it'll like dig or do tricks or something. But otherwise, it's largely just going to be a prop at your settlement. You're going to have a flat defense and happiness value, so it could attack people and make your other settlers happier. And I didn't really introduce it, but yeah, the other dog does exactly the same thing. They have the same values. The only difference between these two dogs is where you get them for that short quest. There's no enemies around. You literally just walk up to the location. And I don't know, I just feel like they really dropped the ball on this one. 200 points, which granted isn't a ton, but I would have wanted something more than just a dog to walk around the settlement that I could look at and be like, oh, he's so cute. Like maybe give me a dog house or some other things I could place around. Maybe the dog could do tricks on command. Like that would be pretty cool. When you talk to it, it literally doesn't do anything. There's no speech dialogue. It just barks at you. Plus, ironically enough, on one of the dogs, the head's not all the way connected to the rest of the body. And if you look at it from the right angle, you actually can like see through the dog, which, you know, just felt like I should point that out before you spend any money on this. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. In addition to the things I showed you, there's like a Pip-Boy paint job that's free, but I don't cover that kind of stuff. I personally kind of think this is almost a step backwards for Creation Club. Some of the previous releases definitely provided a lot more content, while this one really felt more like a cash out. Like a lot of the things in here, I don't really think anyone needed. It's not going to make me want to play Fallout 4 more or less. It's just something to spend and dump money on. Like an endless money pit that you see with a lot of other games that have microtransactions. First, like fun fact of the day, it's just something kind of interesting that I recently learned, but a lot of you probably realize like in the real world that this occurs. Typically when you have anxiety or sleep problems or something like that, it means your system is like a little too active. To put it into scientific terms, you have too much glutamate, which is a neurotransmitter, being released in your brain overall. Glutamate is excitatory, so basically it's going to make your different neurons work more and whatever. Long story short, it just makes it so your brain's working a little bit too hard and a little bit too aroused. Thus you have anxiety, you can't sleep, or something of that nature. Glutamate is the excitatory neurotransmitter. There's also an inhibitory one that's actually going to be GABA. GABA will be released by ethanol. Ethanol is in alcohol. So if you have anxiety problems or sleep problems, literally drinking alcohol will temporarily cure that. That's assuming the cause of your anxiety problems is that glutamate, but I personally have anxiety problems, and like it's pretty crazy how good alcohol is at reducing my anxiety. Almost to a scary degree. Like you could totally see how people become alcoholics as a result of this. But again, something a lot of you guys probably knew already, because I'm sure a lot of you guys do drink. But sometimes it's kind of cool to know the science and the actual facts behind some of the things you do experience. That's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. As always, again, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.